Okay, this is the problem that we were working on about the group I on the Sesame Street. And we are having a series of numbers, and which are the street numbers of some members of a group I, and we are going to decide which house that we are going to send the order to. All right. And we already discussed about this. The way that we want to decide which house to send the order to is the one in the middle. We have a special term for this kind of the number. This is not the average. This is not the average of three numbers. Like if you want the average of these three numbers, there will be something like a 4 point something, right? But this is not the average. We want the number whose position is actually in the ranks. Position of the ranks is in the middle, all right? And in this case, we call this number a median. A median, not the average. We want the medium number, all right? Not the average number, all right? Any question about that one? Okay. You don't need that. All right, but before we can find out the medium number, we have to know how many. We have to know how many numbers there are in the list. We have to find out how many numbers, how many people are in this group. So we can decide which door of the house we want to send the order to. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay? All right, here. So on this, you can actually the function len, L-E-N, is the one that you want to use. The one that you want to use to get the number of items in list S. And len is actually the first syllable of length, the first three letters of length, which is the noun form of an adjective long, of the adjective long. This is the noun form of long, all right? We call it length. And we take the first three letters out of length to make the name of this function. And this function will return the number of the item in list S. Let me show you the way it works. For instance, if I have this input instruction called input.split, and then assign a list returned by this split to a variable called S, and we are going to we're going to use the sample data for the input. And then you'll see there are actually four strings inside this list S. Inside the list S, there are 4 numbers. All right? And how are you going to know how many items there are in list S? You are not going to be able to count them with your fingers when the program is running. You cannot use your finger to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there are 4 items. There's not a way to do it. In the program, you need to use the function len to get the number of the items inside the list S, like this. It will return 4. It will return 4. It actually tells you there are 4 strings. There are 4 items inside the list S. Are you with me? Those who understand, please raise your hand. Those who don't, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Those who have any questions, please raise the question right now. Raise your question right now. Any question? Okay. But the next problem is how, even if you know the number of items inside S, how do you get the middle one? How do you get the middle one? Is this working? Like LEN, S, LEN, S. This is the number of items in list S and divided by 2. Can we do this? Wait. Of course, we can always try. All right? Let's try it. You'll get this one. It is actually a medium. One of the mediums. There are actually 2 mediums right here because we have even number of items in this list. This is a medium. This is another medium. There are actually 2 mediums in this list. All right? However, if we look at the problem, if there are more than 1 answers, you have to output the smaller one. In this case, 46 and 83 are both correct answers. However, if you have more than 1 correct answers, the problem would like you to output the smaller one. Which is the smaller one out of 46 and 83? 46. So you are required to output 46 instead of 83. What do you do? Can we do this? Can we minus 1? And this way, it is going to give you 46. Can we do this? Yes, right? But what if we have an odd number of inputs, odd number of numbers in the list? For this one, there are 3 strings inside list S. And if you use LENS, you'll get 3. But if you do this one, you'll get 1. What do you do? Like, okay, let's see, 3 LENS, the length of S is 3. And if you divide it by 2, notice that we are using double slash. So that the number will be rounded down. We'll round down. Do you know round down and round up? Okay, the number will be round down to 1. To 0, I'm sorry, 3, to, for, this is 1, all right? This is, if you use only one slash, if there's only one slash, the outcome of the division is actually 1.5. But if you use double slash, it will be round down to 1. And 1 minus 1 will give you 0. So this is actually S0, all right? And it will give you 1 if you are asking for S0. So this is not correct. What do? You'll probably say, well, let's take out that minus 1 and we'll give you the right answer. Take out that minus 1 and then that's the answer. Number 2. That's what we want, right? No. If you take out that minus 1, and then the answer will be wrong again for the even number items. All right, do you know what I'm talking about? Let's try this. Let's try this. Okay, file, new file. Let's try to get the answer. So for now, we are going to have S is equal to input dot splits. And then we are going to print S LEN S divided by 2 and minus 1. Let's try to run it. Let's try to run it. So run module, and let's save it to our folder, which is 120. And let's save it down here. Okay, and I'm going to copy this one here. It will give you, see, the number of 1. LENS minus 1. This answer is actually wrong for the odd number of items. But if we have even number of items, and the answer will be correct. Do you see that? But if we send out this answer, save it, and evaluate it, you will get only 80%. It's okay, 80% is good enough. You don't really want 100 out of it. 80% is good enough for you. But What if you take this -1 out, save it, and evaluate it? You get 20, 30. All right? How are you going to get 100 out of this? You don't need 100. 80 is good enough. 50 is good enough. All right, guys, you need to be more ambitious. Does anyone come up with the answer that we can get 100 out of it? Like, no matter we have even numbers of items or odd number of items, you are going to give the system the right answer. What? Let's do this. We are going to -1 before we do the division. Do you see that? We -1 before we do the division. Now, if we have three items, and then this will be 2 divided by 1, -1 will be 2, right? Divided by 2, then you'll get 1, you'll get S1, which is in the middle, okay? And if you have 4 items, then it will be 3 if you -1 out of 4. And then divided by 2, it will still be 1. And then that will give you 46 of the second inputs example, sample inputs, right? Do you know what I'm talking about? Any question? No question? All right. So if you don't have any question, this is actually the answer to this problem. So when we paste this answer up here and save it and evaluate it, you'll be able to get 100 out of that. Do you see that? Any question? No question. All right, I'll give you a challenge. I'll give you a challenge. The next problem that follows this one. Reciting the all right, for this one, it's kind of easy. We don't want this problem description. I will let you see this sample inputs, all right? If we have 4 names and the number 1, you need to output the last name of this 4, which is Jacob, all right? Any question? Do we have a Jacob here in this class? Your homeroom teacher? Or your foreign teacher? Your native speaking teacher is Jacob? Okay, Jacob. And if you have 6 names, and you have got a number 3, that means you want the third name from the last. Okay? Counting from the end. Like 1, 2, 3. So you want output BERT. Do you know what I'm talking about here? And I'm not going to show you the answer to it. I would like you to try to solve this problem yourself. All right? Any question? So now you have two problems to work on. You have two problems to work on. The first one is the group by on the Sesame Street, which I have shown you the answer on the screen like this. All right? And the second problem is this one, the flag raising ceremonies. All right? And this one, I haven't showed you the answer to it yet. You need to figure it out yourself. Remember, every time when we are having a test, you are going to solve a problem that I haven't taught you before. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like this one. Like this one. You will be able to solve this problem using the instructions and the functions that I have taught you. But you will not be given the answer to it. When you are having a test, you will be working on a problem that I haven't showed you the answer, and you need to figure out the answer yourself. Any question? Any question? Okay, let's try it then.